Hi! Do you desire for your Christmas cards to deliver the true meaning of Christmas, the birth of Christ? Well, that's exactly what I have for you today. I'm going to use the very popular Stampin' Up! Piece to You stamp set for a handmade Christian Christmas card. My Piece to You card is in mostly white to allow for the Mary, Joseph, and baby Jesus to really stand out. I'm Shelley Godby, the owner and CEO of Stamping Smiles, and for 21 years, I've been teaching others how to create their own hand-stamped smiles. So even though this is an easy card to make, it took me a few variations to settle on the final version. So stick around to the end and I'll show you the other 4. Here's a closer view of the Piece to You stamp set. It's from the July through December 2022 Stampin' Up! Mini Catalog. Yeah, that's a mouthful. How about we just call it the Stampin' Up! Holiday 22 Catalog. All right, so you have your 2 image stamps and then greetings and a sentiment. So it is the whole shebang. Now, this is a limited edition product. I can't guarantee anything, but just from experience, it's really unlikely that we'll see this carry over into a future catalog. So if you like it, I would go ahead and order it now in my online store, even if you have your Christmas cards done for this year, because by December, this will become available only while supplies last. All right, so we've got a little bit of embossing and die cutting to do, but before we do that, I thought, well, we'll finish preparing our cardstock. And so what I have here is the paper trimmer and a piece of basic white thick cardstock. I chose the thick because my card is mostly white and my base is white and I want that nice sturdy cardstock. All right, so what I'm going to do is pick this up. It's easier right here for me. Slide this in. So this is 8.5 by 11. So I want to cut this in half. So do you see the 5-inch mark? Halfway in between is the half, so half of 11 is 5.5, and we're going to put it right, not up to, but right on that line. And then I have the 2 blades. The dark gray is the cutting, the light gray is the scoring, and I'll show you that in just a minute. So first we need to cut our cardstock in half. Boom, there we go. All right, and so now we've got 2 card bases, and then I'll do this to both of them. Actually, you know what I do? When I'm doing several cards, I'll do the scoring first because then I can score once and cut once. After cutting it like this, I'll have to score twice. Okay, so and then this is 8.5 by 11, so half of that, 4.25. So you know we had that halfway mark. Is the longest line? Well, the second longest is the quarter mark and the 3/4, but easily marks halfway in between. So we're going to, again, put this right on the line. And this creates a score line. It's a little crease in there, so when you fold it, it folds nicely. Without that line, it'll crinkle and it's not a good look. And so I've always folded in. You know, it's already folding that way, so I continue. Others go against it. I don't know that there's a right or wrong. I mean, my cardstock always looks great. I'm taking my bone folder and going along that line, so I have that nice crisp fold. And so then if I want to stamp on it, it's going to lay down for me. And see how nice and clean that is, that fold? That's why you want to use a scoring blade. So we've got, like I said, a little bit of embossing and die cutting to do. So let me grab my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I've got my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and as the name implies, you can die cut and emboss with it. We're going to start with the embossing. And so what we need to do first is build up what's called a sandwich. Get it to your appropriate thickness. We'll start with plate number 1. And then I need my embossing folder, and what I have here is the Merry Melody 3D embossing folder. You get really deep images, and so we'll open this up and slide in, and this time I have basic white cardstock with just the regular thickness. And so I want to put this on here to catch the music where I think it's the most lovely. There we go. We'll close and see. Oh, I'm liking that. So we'll place this on here, and then all we need is plate number 4, the specialty plate. Now, when you purchase a Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, this comes with it. If you have a different one and you're using 3D embossing folders, you can order it separately. And so then I just crank this through. This is just the perfect thickness. The regular cutting plate is just a little bit too, not thick enough, just a little bit. And so it just won't emboss. You won't get this great image. So let's look at this. Isn't that great? Oh my goodness, love it. So now we will, you know what, you can go either way. I could crank backwards, but I don't know, I just like to keep going from this way. So next we want to do a little bit of die cutting, and so I'm going to continue that sandwich. We have plate number 1 and then plate number 2 because we're going to use a thin metal die and we will be die cutting. So we want a cutting plate, plate number 3. And everything I'm showing you comes with a Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, the plates, not the dies or the embossing folder. And then we're going to use the basic borders dies. Yeah, I chose this one. And on my mostly white cardstock, what I found was I wanted just a little bit of color. So I have Starry Sky cardstock here. I'm going to place this on here. And then my die, and I'm looking at the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's looking pretty good. Okay, the same amount of scallops on each side, and then I need to finish with another 3, a cutting plate. I'm going to place this on top. I'm not taking the time to adhere it down with, you know, a Post-it note or washi tape because if it's slid a little bit, it'll be just fine. So there we go. And with these borders, you get a nice little decorative touch. And there were several in there that you saw for your handmade greeting cards. So now we're ready for some stamping. Our die cutting and embossing is done, so now we're ready to stamp. And what I have here is some more basic white cardstock and already cut to size. And so I'll have a link to my blog post with this card and the measurements. So if you'd like to duplicate it, that'll make it very easy for you. And so I'm going to be making a lot of these this month. And so I wanted that perfect placement and I want it to be easy for me. And so what I'm going to use is my stamparatus. Talk about perfect placement. This is a wonderful, wonderful tool. Now I have mine all set up. Let me give you a quick idea how you would use this because I've got it set up. But so if I put my cardstock on here, and it comes with these 2 super magnets, and you have the grid on there, the foam that comes with it, well, that's when you're using photopolymer stamps. But I'm using it because this is going to be really easy for me to stamp on my cardstock by putting it in the corner. And when it's close to the hinge, there's, you know, it doesn't lay as flat. So if I just go ahead and use what comes with it, it works perfectly. But let me give you a quick idea. So say we put our cardstock on here, and then you place your stamp right where you'd want it, the magnet to secure it in place. It comes with 2. Don't let them hit each other. I did that the very first moment I took it out, but you get your placement like that, and then you shut this, and look, it adheres to it. All right, and so I practice on scrap paper first to make sure it's exactly where I want it, and then you're all set. So like I said, I've got this set up to save time, and this is a time-saving measure because I don't need to line it up on the grid. Just stick it in the corner, and then I'm going to use the Starry Sky, one of the 2022-2024 in colors, because, you know, with the sky, you think of like night and navy, but this has just a hint of purple to it, right? Which is royalty. I thought it was just perfect. So we're going to pick up this lid, slide it in. I put on my stamping sleeves with all this white. I sure don't want to get ink on my cardstock, and see, I do when I open the pads at times. So I just a quick swipe on my stamping sleeves to keep the ink on them and not my card. All right, so we'll ink this up. And it's something my mom and I came up with, and there's a link under the video if you think you'd like some stamping sleeves to also quit smudging your handmade cards. And then you close this and press on there. And, oh, gorgeous. Now, if you want it even deeper, you could keep inking it up and it's going to go right back in the same place. And so, and it comes with 2 plates. And so on this other plate, I have my sentiment, Silent Night, Holy Night. So we'll ink that up and go ahead and close that. I don't want to press too hard. I mean, just because it's on here, if I press so hard, I still could get that halo, but look at that, how easy that was. All right, and what I mean by the halo, when you ink, you can get it on that little edge. Well, if you just go straight up and down, you're okay. It's when we press really hard that presses in. So we've got that done. Look how quick this is going to be. All right, and so then I set up the inside, and this is what you've got 4 surfaces. You take this out, turn it around. How cool is that? Okay, and because this is the inside of my card, I can go off the edge. I like that. So I lined it up again here, put a little magnet on there, and this greeting is from the Hope and Peace stamp set. May knowing Christ bring you peace for today, hope for tomorrow, and joy for every season. This is also in the 22 Holiday Mini Catalog. All right, so I could have used this. I chose to pull this in. All right, so I don't know that you can see where it is because it's on this. All right, so we'll go ahead and ink this up. And now that I'm done with the ink, let's go ahead and shut it. So I do a little push here, pull on that lip, and click. Make sure it's closed so it doesn't dry out. And another swipe on our stamping sleeves, and I won't be getting ink anywhere except for where I want it with the stamp on the cardstock. Again, I don't want to press really hard. Ah, yay. And so our greeting, our sentiment is done, and outside it's done. So now we'll put it all together. I did want to show you that if you wanted to use the Hope and Peace stamp set for your greeting and sentiment, look, the God's blessings to you would fit on this piece beautifully as well. All right. So like I said, now we're ready to put it together, and we'll bring back our card base with our sentiment already stamped inside, and then our embossed cardstock. And for that, we're going to use mini glue dots, because anytime there's texture, as nice as the Stampin' Seal is, you want this extra stickiness that the dots provide. So like if you saw my last video, for whatever reason, they're on, they used to be on here on this side, now they're on this string. I've had a couple boxes like that. So what I'm learning is I just need something solid to, all right, don't make a liar out of me. There we go, to pick it up against. So just laying it on the table. And the Dynamic, they do such a good job with embossing. It's got a lot of texture. I want to put a couple along each side instead of just one in the center, or typically on a layer like this, I would just do the 4 corners. Okay, that didn't come up. Let's press a little bit more. All right, the other thing I've done, all right, calm yourself down. Talking to the piece of paper. All right, when it didn't want to stick for me. There we go. I do prefer it when they roll on the other side. did you watch the World Card Making Day video? Or, you know, the presentation? And they rolled, Shannon West, I believe it was, rolled them back so she still had something to press it against. And I tried that, but it seemed like the paper kept getting my way. So I'll keep playing and see if I can figure out an easy way for us. If you get, okay, see, that was working for me off camera. Then I get on camera. I think I get in a hurry because I don't want to waste your time. All right, very good. And so that was the top. So this is going to go edge to edge, And so having it nice and neat is important. You don't want it to hang over or be too short. Isn't that pretty already, though? And for this, it felt like it needed a little bit of color, just a little bit more. So we'll put this on here, and this is when we'll use the Stampin' Seal. And I put my finger, there's nothing magical about it, it's just a little bit roughed up there, and pull it along. Hey, it's coming out. There we go. Sometimes I have to encourage it, but it was all set. And that little bit of color is sure nice. There we go. Okay, yay. Now, before I put this on, it needs ribbon, right? All right, and so I'm gonna go ahead, and this is the white crinkled seam. Very nice. Love this stuff. So versatile. You could color it if you wanted with, well, you could do it with ink refills, or your Stampin' blends. Let's bring this up. And I want to check on the back because, you know, they'll be able to see it from the inside that it wasn't, I want to make sure it's flat. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but flat. I didn't, you know, want it to look as nice as it can when you open it up. Okay. And so the trick I have found with tying bows is just twisted. That was what I was trying to say. It's not to let your ribbon get twisted. And you get a nice bow that way. And then you need to fluff and play. There we go. Because people would ask me, how do you get such nice bows? So I started paying attention when I was doing, and I'm particular, like I said, not to let it get twisted. There we go. And then I've got a pair of paper snips designated for cutting ribbon. So, you know, they get dull with paper. Aha. Look how fast this is going. We are almost done. And I want to put this on with Stampin' Dimensionals. And I'm checking before I put it down so I can get my ribbon right where I want it. Because I want it up to it. Right up to it. There we go. Stampin' Dimensionals, my absolute favorite adhesive. I have teas. It's my favorite accessory because it feels like an accessory because it adds so much to your card. Instead of just laying flat on there, this little bit of lift is going to make it extra special. All right. All right, so I was putting them right in the center, but then if I wanted to move my ribbon, it was stuck down. So what we're going to do is put them each not quite in the center. Does that make sense? So it'll give it support. All right, so those foam adhesive dots are wonderful. This one's just peeling off. But if they don't, if they're laying flat like this, all you have to do is press down with your thumbnail and it lifts right off. You don't need long fingernails, just that impression. So we put this on here. Got our pretty ribbon. Look at that. Isn't that nice? And so, you know what? I was wrong. A little bit more stamping. You absolutely want a gorgeous envelope if you're going to take the time to make cards. Even if it's quick and pretty like this, you want a gorgeous envelope, and that's the basic white envelopes. And so the basic white cardstock and the very vanilla, they have tight, smooth finishes. They're designed to take ink beautifully for beautiful stamped images. So let's bring back Starry Sky. Pick this up. And right here, I got out of the Piece to Use stamp set, Light of the World. And these come unmounted, so you need blocks. And you just place it on there. All right, I like to do them upside down when they're the red rubber, the cling, so I can see it. I got it straight. Lightly tap on here. We'll just come in the corner. Just a little something to decorate our Christmas envelope. So again, oh yeah, see, this is why I need stamping sleeves. Just stuck my finger right in there. All right, it's like I said, a quick swipe and keep that ink where it belongs. And there we have our handmade Christmas handmade Christian Christmas card that was quick and easy to make, but isn't that pretty? So I promised to show you the others. So I started first with this, just basically all white, and I thought it needs something else. So this was another one of the border dies from the Basic Borders dies. And it still wasn't, I was like, okay, wasn't quite right. And I thought, well, am I going wrong with all white? So I wasn't sure. So then I tried Starry Sky for the embossing. And then I changed the ribbon to the Starry Sky metallic at 1/8 inch. And I thought, well, I don't know. And so then it was, our final one. But I gave it one more that I tried again, the same idea with the Starry Sky. And as you can see, this is the one that I settled on, and I like it, and I sure hope you did too. If you'd like to make my handmade Christian Christmas card with the Peace to You stamp set, all the supplies are listed below the video and available to order now in my online store, www.shopwithshelly.com. When you place your October 2022 Stampin' Up! Order of $50 or more with me, I'm going to send you one of my Peace to You cards. So get on over now to my online store, www.shopwithshelly.com. I'm Shelley Godby, teaching you how to create hand stamped smiles. Thanks for watching.